This morning, I am tweaking the name of your energy theme to Energy That Matters Most. And you know, we've known for a long time that clean energy would be inevitable based on the economic and social and environmental drivers. The real question was how quickly could we make it the default in order to maximize benefits? Well, that question of timing has never been so important. So what I'm suggesting this morning is that we actually deliberately mimic the very challenges that we're trying to tackle. Because on almost every front, they are accelerating, they are scaling up, and they are beginning to mesh together in ways that create these positive spin-off loops that adds further to the momentum. In essence, it comes down to this: how do we accelerate and get speed and scale in synergy in our own work, wherever that finds us? Despite all those barriers, clean energy is a huge success story. You know, in much of North America and Europe, if we were still using 1970s era technology in terms of efficiency, we would need 2 to 3 times the power generation that we need today. Or another way of putting it, what's the single biggest source of energy supply since the 1970s? It's energy efficiency by far. More than coal, more than natural gas, more than nuclear, more than a couple of them combined. So a huge success. But here's the thing: context matters. And so it was really eye-catching to read the 2012 International Energy Agency report that said that despite all that we have accomplished, all of the plans that we have on the drawing board, that still 2/3 of efficiency is going untapped. By itself, that would be worrisome, but when you put it in the context of other trends, it's more than that. So let me just go through the numbers quickly. On the demand side, we have about 3 billion new people entering the consumer class in the very near future. So how about the supply side? How are we going to meet that need? Long story short here is that most of the natural ecosystems that provide the ingredients of life, water, air, food, materials, a habitable climate, nearly all of them are in decline, some of them precipitously so. Climate change being of most significance because of the spin-off effects on so many other ecosystems and because it's so long-lasting. A couple of months ago, Sir Robert Stern, you may remember him, the British economist who was lead economist for the World Bank and issued that really influential report in 2006 on the economics of climate change. He was asked by the International Monetary Fund, IMF, "What have we learned since your report came out?" And he said, in every case, we underestimated the pace of change and the impact of those feedback loops. You know, normally, and especially on a Monday morning at the start of your conference, that kind of quick reality check can either debilitate you or spur you to action, and I have to admit that I went through a pretty cynical period myself. But I came out on the other side because of this. Once we accept our limits, we can go beyond them. And that's exactly what we find happening today. You know, we see it in the kinds of bold initiatives in the private and the public sector. Ray Anderson and Interface on your agenda today as being a standout example of one of them. The Carbon War Room with Richard Branson at the head of that. The ARPA-E program at the U.S. Department of Energy is doing a bang-up job accelerating technology development. The Living Building Challenge in the building environment that goes even far beyond LEED Platinum by identifying a whole set of mandates that would define sustainability. In the case of energy, a building would have to be powered only by on-site renewable energy, which puts a lot of burden also on the energy efficiency. The textile industry, in an unprecedented collaborative, sharing IP and patents in order to accelerate the ability to get toxics and waste out of the whole textile industry around the world. So much innovation, in fact, that we're going beyond efficiency per se and less into whole concepts of abundance and resilience. of regeneration, of adding value back to ecosystems. And, you know, frankly, if it weren't for that dire prognosis on climate change and the economic recession, we wouldn't be finding the World Bank or the World Economic Forum or the IMF all naming green growth as the only viable path forward and naming clean energy and efficiency at the heart of it.